You grabbed the spoon out of it. You took care of the spoon. Did you put throw it away? I didn't take that spoon out.
I didn't either. I saw the cat up there looking out of the thing. Maybe.
Yeah, because the cat took it for sake. Sorry, guys. Saw the spoon out there. That's what I needed. Face mask. Cat did not do anything with my spoon. It was in the sink, just like I said. All right. And it's been a little bit since I've done a live. We got to get caught up. Well, I'm not going to get caught up per se. But I still have to take care of a bunch of stuff. We are going to, though. I really don't know where I left off at this point, and I'm not going to worry about it. I am just going to start the new one. Well, we're going to go back a couple of days, maybe.
Or Paul. Welcome up, everyone. You're about to see exactly why all of your stock food piles and your fuel that you have put away are necessary. I've been warning you for months now.
Okay, this goes back 4 days. This one is. I didn't think this could get worse. All right. Yeah, there's been a lot going on.
News. We're going to see exactly what's happening
even for us.
The USA and Iran, Russia, and Ukraine. Let's dive right into it. Here we have some video deep inside of Ukraine during the attacks.
I might go with just a few videos and then try to get caught up on things that might going on with us.
They will open the Strait of Hormuz only by their imam's directorate. They call the U.S. President Donald Trump an idiot and say that there's no way that they're going to open it under those guidelines. Basically, they're calling for only military action that gets rid of either the USA or the country of Iran, and that's what they say will open up the strait.
You must ask permission from the Iranian settlement. All vessels that have a connection with our enemies,
So there's the IRGC saying that any vessel that has a dealing with the United States of America will be targeted as an enemy combatant. That goes right on to what I told you about this morning in our earlier broadcast. This was a red flag. The United States is viewing any country that has a dealing with the Iranians as a potential enemy combatant, a naval combatant.
Sounds like we're
And the
fighting.
IRGC is saying that they're going to
Sounds like we're fighting the Nazis
militarily
all
attack
over.
any nation that has a dealing with the United States of America. That means if a country tries to use the American route, which is closer to Oman than the Iranian approved route, Iran will attack them. If a ship tries to use the Iranian approved route by paying their tax to the Iranians, then the United States of America will send in more fighter jets and Hellfire missiles to blast them out of the freaking water. Now, 2 days ago when that happened, what did we see? We blasted the smokestack of that Belmar, and then the Iranians came to pick up the crew. Could you imagine being in that position? Let's see what else we've got going on here.
Really, Panda.
This video is very suspicious to me.
I'll have to tell you guys what's been going on with our chickens.
You guys know that. Call me whatever you want to. I'm pretty paranoid. I prepare all the time. I'm skeptical, but this video is.
I hate the fact that we have so much glare.
You're probably not seeing this anywhere.
It was definitely better when I had it over there, but
showing the Iranian government coming after anybody who sympathizes.
I don't have to worry about the
with
battery going down
Israel,
over there.
America,
Or over here, I mean.
Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates. If you're not out there flying your Iranian
Hope everybody's
flag
doing all right.
around as a pre-week or a
Sorry,
backup,
guys, if it's not what you were looking for or hoping for.
picking you up off the
Trying to
street,
get caught up on some
bringing
things.
you to a van, taking you to somewhere that your family will never know about. If this is proven, if this is happening, we've got a lot bigger problem on our hands.
I'm gonna get our beans and our peas. Start working on it. How do they do those over there, though?
What we just saw is a cultural thing. You know what's going on here, because you got these guys in the streets who are brandishing their swords and their batons against some sort of authority enforcement who's actually carrying guns. And they're doing so in a law enforcement matter. That's a wink to you, YouTube. But they're brandishing swords and batons against these. Maybe they're cops, maybe they're some sort of secret agency. I don't know. And they keep doing so until they're feet away and then they bow down. So I don't know. Maybe it's all a play. You guys let me know. How's this script being written?
An hour ago, Iran very much continues to talk to the United States of America and express that they want to make a deal with us because they are suffering devastating blows on behalf of our United States military. The reason, and this is important for American people to understand, the reason for the recent strikes over the course of the last several days is because Iran violated the memorandum of understanding that we struck with them. Specifically, in the memorandum.
Good to see Levitt back.
I'm Admiral Brad Cooper here at United States Central Command, where I'm leading the forces.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna be sitting over here to
First,
do
I want you
these.
to know that we continue to keep the families of our fallen
I
heroes
don't have a
and our
script
wounded teammates in our thoughts and
right
prayers.
now for.
I'd also like to
snippet.
acknowledge and thank the families of the 50,000 American servicemen and women deployed in and around the Middle East. I'm grateful for your selfless sacrifice, and Americans across the country hold you in their hearts.
Go lay down.
Let me start by offering my
Go.
overall assessment of
Go in
Operation Epic Fury. In short, U.S. forces continue delivering devastating.
Now, this is Cooper discussing that they just took out the last of the warships in this class of the Iranian naval fleet. Now, I'm seeing a lot of
Yeah, we got our
information that suggests Iran has a lot of
for the
hidden
garden.
weaponry, and then a lot of information from our government that says, listen, Iran's wiped out. They're nothing. But let me tell you, if they were nothing,
We also got
Except
except a
blackberries.
couple of boats with big
Which are in
engines
the
on the back,
freezer. We didn't get many of those.
that these ships would just be
But
passing through the
Need
Strait
to
of
keep our
Hormuz
eye on them.
every day, no big deal. Wouldn't be thinking about it, they'd just be driving through, no problem.
Well,
So
I have
there's
to
something
tell you guys-
suspicious that's happening here.
Combat power against the Iranian regime. I said this
Hold on. Like I said, I'll give us a chance to get caught up on some stuff. Don't you dare get up there. Give me the spray bottle, please. Or I'm gonna
Now,
have
what
to
are they
go get
doing
the green
before?
one.
Okay, looks like a second strike took place. So you've got a press crew member here, another guy with a camera, looks like right here. These press crew members are watching what they hoped was from a safe distance as this happened, and
Hey!
then something else happens.
Get out.
You got a
Don't
guy
about my
running with
computer.
what looks to be a long force multiplier here on his back midstream, right in the middle of the screen. Yeah, you can see the.
We're discussing some
that's
major
actually an
changes.
RPG. Hard to see from this still, but I know that the anti-aircraft defenses inside of Iran are operating on the ground right now. Let me tell you, it is only a matter of time until this type of conflict reaches American shores, whether it's through drone use or something else. And when it does, folks, do not be in these areas. You need to get your family to a forest, to another city that's not affected. And I don't care whether it's civil unrest or something else that's going on. Get your family out of there. I warned you about our social distress months and years ago. And we're at a whole new level right now. We're seeing political attacks in the streets. You're seeing calls for the taking out of party leaders.
So everything's gonna stay the same.
Let me tell you, from a consumer standpoint, that video right there, that's scary. And we talked about this morning, when they start taking out refinery capabilities and
See what
supply,
Cat's trying to
available
get out.
stored supply, now
See
you
what
have a
Cat's
real
trying to
problem
get out.
because one tanker goes down. Okay, that sucks. You lose a certain amount of oil. You lose refined oil. Now you're 3 months
No cat
back
up there.
on getting this place ready to push out another barrel, another gallon. So you're not getting the gallons or liters to the people for 3 months. There's been enough notches in
I
this.
swear I
game
thought that
says
was
we're
a
nowhere
spider.
near the end of this. I have to. These types
A
of
little
events that
less
happen
dirty.
here inside of our country. I'm going to keep scrolling so that you and your family don't have to. Make sure you're subscribed
No,
to your Full
really?
Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Share this video off-site. Get it to other people because a lot of this information you're not going to see anywhere else.
And that's the other thing,
My
guys.
family to yours.
Share the videos. Like and share the videos. Get them out there. Get this information out to everybody.
What happened inside
Hold
his Vinton County, Ohio home? Absolutely unthinkable. 16 children kept out of school.
Okay, guys. Changes to save our chickens. Pretty sure coons got to some of them. I think that was the first two. And then I'm gonna start putting them in totes again. Tomatoes on edge. And I've cleared out a space upstairs. And we're just gonna have to bring them in at night like we were doing before, which is a pain in the butt, but I'm not losing any more chickens. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get the real small hold hardware cloth, and I'm gonna have to get anywhere between 4 rolls of it. And I'm literally going to have to, we're gonna clean all the bedding out of the chicken coop, every last bit of it, and then probably take the broom that's out there and literally sweep it out. I'm gonna have to cover the sides, the walls with, I'm gonna have to line it with a hardware cloth. I'm gonna layer it on the floor. What is your problem? Wait. I'm gonna have to staple it to the floor. And then I have I think that needs to be charged. Yeah, I'm gonna have to staple it to the floor. And they have two pieces, two boards that I'm gonna put down to cover any possible holes. Then I'm gonna have to put something over it, like layered plastic or something, to keep the floor from getting wet and like rotting out the wooded stuff. And I'm going to cover probably almost every inch of the coop outside with the hardware cloth. And I'm going to have me and Aaron look for like some posts to where I can put up outside. That's got to be charged. And you've got the charger. Anyway, I guess if it shuts off, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. We're gonna have to put some posts up. I'm probably gonna have to cement them in. And I'm gonna have to completely cover the coop. And like the yard and everything like I did before. So fun. Not really. Plus, well, I'm not gonna get into that. Changes we're discussing. They're big. There's a possibility. Yeah, it's. I need to plug it in. We're discussing once again moving to Pennsylvania. Only I'm just praying that God will change Aaron's mind, because I'm not going without Aaron. So, just because of the fact that he cannot handle the house and the property alone. So, anyway, we'll talk about that more on other videos. This one is alert. NATO is on edge. U.S. military moving in to finish the job with Iran. Trump has been warned. All right, now. So the biggest thing right now is the chickens. I have a little rescue kitten I'm trying to save. So far, it's doing okay. It's doing pretty well, at least I think, from what I can tell. We lost some other babies we were trying to save. That's just because the mama refused to take care of them and they were too little. So sorry, I'm trying to write this down. I really wasn't prepared to do a live tonight, but I wanted to make sure and get some things covered so we weren't too far behind.
About to see exactly why all of your stocked food piles and your fuel that you have put away are necessary. I've been warning you for months now that this war was not going to stay confined to the Iranian shores or the Strait of Hormuz. Now with what we're seeing, it's impossible to ignore. Shipping through the strait is collapsing. Iran is threatening full-scale retaliation. And the same drone warfare that has reshaped Ukraine and the Middle East is now moving closer to the point where it threatens American infrastructure.
Oh, it's that cat.
Our fuel supply and our fuel. U.S. forces, according to CENTCOM, have now launched a new wave of attacks on Iran. This marks the 7th and 8th straight nights. Now, CENTCOM says
All right,
that they're
now I'm
trying
gonna go back
wipe
to my
out
beans.
Iran's military capability. According to the quote, they launched a round of strikes for the 7th and now 8th consecutive night, and these are designed to continue degrading the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps' military capabilities at the direction of the U.S. President Commander-in-Chief. Now, Iran's Major General Razi, they warned that if the U.S. attacks continue for 1, 2, maybe 3 more nights, then Iran will enter a full-scale offensive. They say they will no longer limit themselves to reciprocal strikes, and that Americans here at home
Yeah,
should
this is the
prepare
first
for
of the
waves
beans
of
and peas.
Iranian missiles and drones.
I don't know how much we're gonna get out of them.
Now, the Major General there
That guard-
threatened us with financial
I don't even know
compensation,
what
saying
to.
that the American
how to
taxpayer,
describe
the
it.
U.S. taxpayer, should compensate
I've
the
been trying
Iranian
to stay
people
on
for
top of the
damage.
weeds. I mean, it hasn't really
And under
been
no
overtaken with
circumstances
weeds, but
will the country
once
Warrants
again, the roots
abandon
weren't
their revenge
wasn't
for their
enough
murdered leader.
soil.
They say that Iran's future security depends
And-
on avenging him and any other victim of this war.
Then between not getting
Now,
enough
US forces have
water,
targeted
enough rain,
military sites and infrastructure, and the
which-
country's existing military launched strikes on 5 different Persian Gulf
I've been
states,
trying to stay on top of
attacks
it.
on US
I
military
wanted us
forces
to water
in
tonight. I'm
Syria
not sure how much
and
we're gonna
inside
get
of
water
Bahrain.
tonight because of how
Let's
we
look
have
at
to
some
take
of this
care of the
footage
chickens.
that we are looking at here behind me. The sheer destruction of what we're
I
seeing
don't know how
shows
much
you
of-
that this is
you
a
know,
major
I
conflict.
don't know how
And
long
don't
I'm
know
gonna
if
be able to
there was
make the
some
live
sort of
because around 8:30
psychological
I
campaign
have
that
to.
made sense for us to see a whole bunch of fireworks and explosions and hear news here inside of the
Around
USA.
8:30 we have to go
Then
start
when they
rounding
turned
up the
around and did this
chickens.
again, it wouldn't
Because
seem
I don't
like
know how long it's
such a
gonna
big
take,
deal.
and
Because I don't
9
know if
o'clock I
you're the
have to
same as
feed
me.
my baby
But I don't
again.
feel like what they're doing right now is as large of a conflict.
And
as
then
when
around
it first
9:30
started
we have to
in
leave to go
late
get Aaron.
February.
So,
I feel like some sort of
and somewhere in between there, I gotta do the
psychological
dishes.
takes place. Because this doesn't seem anywhere near as destructive. It doesn't seem anywhere near as disastrous as it did at that time. Now, I don't know. Maybe
You should
they
wanna
do
do it
know
when
something
you're doing
else. Maybe
this.
they know that this is it. This is one for the long haul.
I've been trying
And
to
the
keep
Iranian
up on
people
stuff.
understand
It's
this
just,
too. I'm starting to see
with-
now petitions
with everything
inside
going
of
on with the
Iran,
chickens, it's
people
like
telling their
I'm trying to
politicians,
figure out how to
"Don't write
deal with
a
that.
legislation that says we're going to war. Do not negotiate with what they call the American terrorists. They're telling the people to pick up a gun and get into this fight. Now, that territory is very near what America saw during World War
I've got
I
my
and World
coffee,
War
so
II.
if you wanna get.
I know I'm
Okay.
gonna get
The
it, which
American
I'm probably
people
gonna
were told
regret because
to
I'm going
pick
around
up
8
their
o'clock.
guns, get boots on their feet, and get
7:30.
into the middle of this fight.
I can't tell time apparently.
Now, I did just see another open line of communication, and this is scary.
The
because
beans
last
look pretty
time we saw
good.
Something
We-
like this,
They're from the gourmet
we
beans,
started
the
having
green,
terror attacks
burgundy, and
here
the
inside
yellow.
of the USA. I just saw
They
another line
look
of
pretty
open,
good. They
comms
really
from the
do.
Iranians telling their people all over the world, attack. They're telling them that it's go time. They're telling them it's time to attack not just
I've
the
got it.
States, but also into Europe. And if the CIA is right in what they said a couple of months ago, that they knew Iran was ready to attack London, Paris, a couple of other countries. And if we know we have operators existing, or at least
They're
sympathizers for this crazy
super
administration
focused on
of the Iranians,
baby saving.
sympathizers here inside of the USA, then you better watch your back.
Haven't
Every time
done
you go
much
to Walmart,
outside
every
at
time you drop your
all.
kids off at school, every time the wife goes out to work, when you pick up mail, you better be watching your six at that moment in time, because the people who are operators inside of our country are not looking like some crazy Middle Eastern garb wearing person walking down the street. The people who will attack will look pretty similar to an integrated everyday American citizen. And then there's another gray area, because we have some members of our politics saying, hey,
This should
take
fit
them all
with
out.
one
get them out of this country. There's no room
Sure,
for
I
anybody
have
here
that.
that's not an American citizen. And that's one
Kitchen.
side of things. The other side is that They let millions, tens of millions of people into this country without as much of a, can I see some identification? They let them into this nation. They gave them money.
Yeah, and they're
You're paying
regretting
their
it.
food. You're paying their health care. And they're here. So we don't know who might be an Iranian operator. We have no idea what might actually come in the next couple of weeks. But I have a feeling, and it's really a bad feeling. I have a feeling that we're going to see a pretty major attack here inside of our country. Now, like I said yesterday, I don't know if that's going to be a drone. I don't know if it's going to be an infrastructural attack, but it looks like we're going to see something here soon. Let's go ahead and see what else is going on. Look at this explosion.
That's why we need to prepare.
Now, these are obviously precision weapons that are being used. They're not just straight up sand bombing the entire Iranian
go
countryside,
get some
but we
coffee.
do see video now that they are attacking these bridges and pathways, at least the ones that they can say, hey, these are the ones the Indian Revolutionary Guard Corps are using. Their military is using these. Let's take them out.
Well,
Now, this is really what I'm watching out for. Most people are looking at everything that's happening, the explosions, and that makes sense. But they're missing the part that will actually reach us here at home. Only a handful of commodity vessels have moved through the Strait of Hormuz. Oil tankers, gas tankers, they're staying away, and Iran is openly threatening to expand this into waves of missiles and drone attacks against any vessel that uses an Omani-directed or American-directed pathway. Only 3 ships crossed the strait on Thursday. That's the fewest daily since May.
Oh, it's on the.
Most ships just made U-turns and just turned right around because the Iranian attacks on vessels and the resumption of the U.S. blockade makes it impassable. This video right here, this is one of those bridge attacks that we talked about. You can see the bridge completely wiped out with some of the vehicles there wiped out inside of it. This is nowhere near over. And I told you that the real danger was going to start when this fight moved away from military retaliation and into economic warfare. And that's the moment that we're looking at right now. The oil route through Hormuz is nearly frozen. Iran is closing another major shipping corridor over at El Mandab, and infrastructure across the Gulf is being completely wiped away. The next phase isn't just about who controls the battlefield. We know this. You win a war by controlling fuel, food, and fear. Now, in a further threat to energy supply, Tehran has signaled that they will prod their Houthi allies inside of Yemen, and they'll close that El Mandab Strait. It sits at the mouth of the Red Sea. We see sources inside of Yemen telling Reuters and other outlets that if Washington attacks just one more time against Iran's infrastructure, then nobody's oil and nobody's food will move. We did just see a possible Iranian event in which 9 members of the Kurdish armed opposition group based in Iraq's Kurdistan, they were killed. This happened just yesterday, July 17th, in an attack on an exiled party that is blamed directly on Iran. And the leader of this Kamala party, this is of Iranian Kurdistan, says that it was the regime of Iran. They targeted and attacked with drones and rockets at an opposition camp. The strikes took out 9 members of the party at their camp near the one of their major cities. And the Iraqi government, they're also blaming this attack on Iran. Now, I don't know how many times we have to sit here and that I have to warn people that this is the new reality. You cannot have cognitive dissonance and you can't have NPC behavior anymore. You have to get to the store. You have to buy food. You have to get water. I don't care what you have to do. Build a moat. You have to do something. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed. Well, I gather today's survival tip on radiation fallout. We're going to take a quick moment and hear from Radio Code. Today's episode of Full Spectrum Survival is brought to us by you, the viewer, and by Radio Code. In a radiation emergency, nothing matters more than information. Radio Code 0 measures radiation levels that are up to 9 sieverts per hour, and this helps you identify safe locations, detect weak points in sheltering, and reduce uncertainty by giving you live data instead of relying on guesswork. It has up to 200 hours of active operation on a single charge. an app that logs accumulated dose and mapping, even though the unit operates on its own. And this will reduce uncertainty and panic when everyone around you is guessing what could be wrong. And most consumer models are low-range detectors, but Radiocode was built to take you from no detectable danger all the way through to finding safe shelter after a nuclear incident.
All right.
You can get your own radiation detector by visiting the Radiocode link that's in the description box below, which already has a 5% discount. And this is just for the full spectrum survival
I'm
family.
gonna go check on my baby, and if it's
Now, Mike
if the
sent in
baby's
this
awake, I don't know if it's a boy or a
survival
girl.
tip. He
So I
said that
keep
we are
saying
right
it.
now witnessing a
If the
growing
baby's
trend in
awake, I'll bring
radiological
the baby
emergencies
out
that are
here so you
taking
guys
place.
can-
This is a reminder to you and to me
It's a fluffy little.
that our nuclear survival skills have to be learned before the alarms go off on your phones that are warning about an impending nuclear fallout.
Right?
Of course, you need to have the ability to know what's happening, to know what's going on. You need that information. You need to be able to determine whether an area is contaminated or you can use something like a personal dosimeter. You need to know whether the interior room is safer than the exterior room, and you need to have emergency supplies, your sealed food and water. Remember, you can't just go out and get water after fallout is dropping on the lake. You need to have spare batteries, battery-powered or crank-powered radios, plastic bags for contaminated clothing, or buckets, enough buckets and garbage cans to be throwing everything inside of. You need to have soap for gentle decontamination, and you need to have really potassium iodide. Now, remember that during the Chernobyl event, they used fruit pectin, apple pectin, because it binds to cesium and it allows everybody who eats the apple pectin, drinks it. It binds to it inside of their body, pulls it into their gut, and they pass it through their fecal matter and their urine. One of the reasons we have fruit pectin here on site. Folks, you need to get ready because harder times are coming. Make sure you are subscribed here. Share this video offsite. From my family to yours, you'll hear breaking news every day. Please stay safe and keep watch.
All right, sorry guys.
Somewhere in your yard right now,
Sorry.
there's a plant you've pulled a dozen times that's worth more than half the stuff
Your
in
baby
your
was
medicine
partially
cabinet
awake.
or your grocery cart. Most people spray it, mow it, or yank it out the second it shows up, without ever knowing what they're actually getting rid of. Stick around, because one entry on this list was once considered so valuable, it inspired an entire candy that's now made with nothing but sugar and
Come up, everyone.
There are additional observations from across the list.
This
right,
one
can I just-
is breaking. U.S. bombers are in the air. Total blackout in Iran. Fill up your gas tanks and buy food. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, 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 hey. Oh. You're all right. You're all right. Honey. Please don't fall on the floor. Okay, I see. All right, come here. Get off the table. Okay. This is my baby. All right, I'm gonna go put it back. Get down. What is wrong with you guys? You're okay. You're all right. You're all right. You're okay, baby. True. A little bit. Come on. It did kind of disturb the baby. Sorry. I wanted you guys to see my little baby. Scott named it Gandalf. I think it's Fluffers because it's so fluffy. Get down, please. Get down, Panda. Okay. Let me get it saved. Excuse me. You get off me. I love you, Panda. Stop. All right. Get this one written down. Oh, on the table. Gross. All right. So, yeah, that's my little hopefully full rescue. I will cry if something happens to that kitten because I'm getting very attached. It was another one that I found outside that was a kind of abandoned by its mama. I don't know how long it had been without food, but it was just crying and crying and crying, and I can't sit back and no. And it was really hungry when I started feeding it, so far it's doing good, I think. It doesn't show any signs of not doing good. So hopefully it'll stay that way. If I can just get it to, 6 weeks. But I got about another 3.5 at least. So, getting up. Well, I'm feeding it like every 3 hours. Black out my ran. Yeah, that's my little charge. Fill up your gas tanks and buy food. Really hoping and praying that Aaron will change his mind. Because I do want to be near Chloe, especially
Tell me right off the
after
press
grids
something
go
that's
down.
going on inside of Iran.
Because I would
It looks
rather
like
our
we've got
family be
Almost
together.
up in the air right now.
I mean,
do have
I don't-
multiple family members here and friends.
I'm
that are
sitting in the way, aren't I?
being deployed to the Middle East.
I don't know
About region, it looks
what
like
Christian's gonna do
complete
if we
wipeout
leave.
of the Iranian military.
I mean, all I can do is tell him.
Structure. Now, the word that I'm getting is that on these B-52 bombers or the bombers that are over there, they're going to do an infrastructure
That's all I can do.
takeout. So power plants, electricity generation, water desalination plants, water treatment plants, possibly the sewage. Is going to be a citywide breakdown that is happening. Iran just
Have
vowed
until around
that they will
8:30.
do whatever it takes to take out the U.S. President Donald Trump. And if they're threatening to take out the President of the United States of America and our leading government officials, what do you think they're going to
What
do
are
to
you
you?
doing?
And what do you think they're going to do to me? Now, a lot of people have been talking about what's going on in Cuba. Does Cuba really have Iranian drones? And yes, they do.
Oh, I don't
Every
need a chance to do
anti-American
that.
country has Iranian drones. Started off with Russia, Cuba. We got word that some of them had them in Venezuela
Yeah, I
before we
swear,
wiped
if
out
you
some
went
of
to the
their
bathroom, you better
warehouses.
have gone in the
So it looks like
box.
here inside of the USA, we might be facing some sort of drone attack here in the not too distant future. But this is breaking, just happening within the last couple of minutes and hours here. We have multiple U.S. service members who have been killed in Jordan. Now, the word that I am seeing from the Metaflight technicians is that there's multiple other service members who are not going to make it out of this. They feel like what has happened there is an escalation, and the United States of America is working, doing everything they can to
I feel like
try
I've
to
gained a
get
ton of
the
weight.
American people to say, you know what? They've threatened us long enough. They've said death to America. They've hated our culture. They've hated religion. They've hated all these things. It's time to wipe them out. And I think that's starting to happen right now. We see multiple outlets here inside of the USA that are either boosted by government-backed sources or they're natural and organic, but they're all saying the same thing. Wipe that country to the earth, turn them into glass, and it looks like the service members that we have moving right now are prepared to do just that. So we have these 2 American personnel killed, another missing, multiple on a chopper or a plane. They think they're not going to make it. Tehran just suspended their commitments under the memorandum with the United States, according to the Iranian deputy foreign minister. They will no longer fulfill any obligation under the interim conflict memorandum. They say it's because Washington.
What if Jesus walked in on you looking at
What are these people thinking? They're the ones who shot at the ships that were going right outside of their little piggyback zone, right outside of the Strait of Hormuz. They had a select channel set up. The USA saying, listen, if you want our protection, then you better move your ships over here to the Gulf of Oman. You better move them a little bit out of Iranian territory. As soon as the ships started moving, what did Iran do? They took the shots. The United States of America saw that as exactly what was needed. We started sending our planes over to our refueling planes over to Israel. We just saw a meeting take place between the Israeli leadership, Pete Hegseth, Cooper, Trump. They're all saying the same thing. It's go time. So here in our country, what are we looking for? One is an attack on local infrastructure. We're also looking for attacks in the prices of things. You better fill up your gas tank. You better get some extra food. Hard to do right now, but you just better bite the bullet and do it. So moving on to what else we have. Tehran just said that all Gulf countries are now calling their attacks war crimes. Now we have multiple nations, including different Gulf countries, saying that the instability that is being presented by Iran against Kuwait, against Bahrain, Jordan, Israel, the USA, and our assets is now a crime that has to be held with international accountability. So they're saying exactly what Trump said. NATO, you better get involved. Other countries, if you do not want this coming to your shores, you better get involved. At least 50 people were taken out, 500 injured just in the last 24 to 48 hours. TASS is reporting that the Iranian Health Ministry figures claim that recent American strikes have taken out 50 people, injured more than 500. The published approximate results are about 6 hours before this came out, so it could be more as of this moment in time. Iran destroyed a U.S. fighter jet. Now, I just saw the video. Isn't it crazy how we went from there's no way in heck with 8-fingered Will Smith eating spaghetti videos that we won't be able to tell what's real and what isn't, to today, where every single video could be fake. And I know a lot about video processing. I'm sure you guys do too. Well, as soon as you export something, if you don't have the bit rate correct, the white balance correct, you have artifacting, you have the noise too high because of a high ISO, whatever it is, you're going to see artifacts that everybody around the world will be like, oh, that's AI. We don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
They're trying to make
You got to be able to tell.
like AI, and the AI look like real material. So we don't know exactly where it's going to go. We just saw another report that Iran.
I'm gonna be working on my Etsy store.
Al Azraqi
And I gotta check some, you guys.
destroyed 2 additional U.S. fighter jets. Claim has not been identified as confirmed by CENTCOM. If you look at everything that's happening, I'd say it sure as heck is. Trump's shift in tone just took place on the grappling of the Iranian war, changing comments about what needs to be done. We're starting to see now that there's an escalation in the conflict and what we can expect here in American culture on price gouging, inflation, shortages. We know we're going to have medicine problems. It blows me to the moon that at the same time they're saying we have a fertilizer shortage and we have farmers across our country who are saying, you know what, we cannot put food in the ground, that they're looking at you and saying, if you don't want to blast your intestines out your lower esophagus, you better not eat fresh fruits and vegetables. I want you to remember the coin phrase. Never let good crisis go to waste. They practice that from the moment they wake up until they're
Sorry, I'm still
I don't
checking
know.
something out.
eating things that they shouldn't at night. Never let a good crisis go to waste. So no matter what's happening around the world, there's an inching forward, a little walking, right? Oh, we've got some fertilizer problems. Well, we've got diarrhea all over the country. You know what? Don't eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Oh, we've got a price gouging corruption problem inside of our economy. You know what? It's Iran's fault that the prices are so high. Never letting a good crisis go to waste is the operation of the government. Khamenei just said that the U.S., this is the Iranian leader. I don't know if this guy's even alive. The CIA says he got his legs blown off. Israel says he might have been killed. We haven't seen the face of him. They put a cardboard cutout printed out of somebody's home industry printer. And they said, look, the
Darn
Supreme
it.
Leader is here telling you what to do. This is South Park level propaganda going on here.
Yep.
And they're saying that Khamenei just said that the U.S. president violated the ceasefire agreement, and now they're taking their gloves off. They're going after Donald Trump. They're going after the Israeli leadership, and they're coming after the United States of American citizens. And the reason I think they're going to do it is because they're telling you who to be mad at when it happens. So they're trying to incite the same level of riots and unrest here inside of the United States of America that the United States of America incited inside of Iran. They said, you know what? Your power's out. Somebody got taken out in a missile barrage. Be mad at the Iranian government. And then you saw people getting out into the streets and they were firing down at the IRGC and they were doing all these different things. And that's exactly what the Iranians want to happen inside of the USA. So in the next 48, 72 hours, maybe a little bit longer, watch out for increases in social unrest, attacks here on American soil. Get your gas tanks filled up. Make sure that you and your family have a communications plan. Make sure you're able to monitor multiple waves of communication. Know that if the power goes out and the cells go down, you have a backup plan of where to meet and where to go next. Because if this thing goes nuclear, we're all screwed.
All right, imagine waking up one day and being told the home your family has lived in for years is going
Hold
to be
on.
accomplished to help power the AI boom, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That is what is happening to some homeowners in Georgia. They've been given an ultimatum: sell your home or the state will take it. Utility giant Georgia Power is
All right, hold on,
building
guys.
a
Sorry.
transmission line so it can handle new data centers. Skylar Henry has more from the county just
Oh, no, this is not going to be part of it. Sorry. Alerts. If I'm right about this, the next
Inside of the United States of America, we are about to
disaster
experience
already
a cataclysmic
started.
breakdown.
The rule of law is
a
a myth.
political weapon.
Okay. Alert. If I'm right about this. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to write it down. The rule of law is a myth. All right, here we go.
Does not deserve the power that it has
I'm
been
gonna let
given.
Garfield back out
Officially,
because he's
the
on the
rule of law
screen.
meant that
And
everyone in the country was equal before the law. What happens when a country still has courts They have police,
Hang on,
judges,
Garfield.
elections, and laws, but people no longer believe that those rules are applied equally. You can already see that inside of our country, that we are in the early stages of a breakdown. Soon the rule
Yeah.
of law will be dead and
We
over.
absolutely are.
It's one of those phrases that everyone repeats because it sounds important or even civilized. Politicians say it, judges, international criminal courts.
Down.
Nobody stops to think or even ask what happens when that social contract dies. We're seeing it right now. The law is supposed to stand above the rich, even above the poor, politicians, cops, judges, and shoot, it's supposed to be a law governed above the government itself. The US Constitution establishes a government whose authority comes from the people and not against them. It's supposed to be difficult enough to change that whoever controls the government can't just rewrite the rules to punish who they hate and benefit who they party with. At least that's the sales pitch. But when you really watch how our country operates, I'm seeing something very different. We're dead. As a law-based nation, we are dead. Laws selectively enforce the beneficiary. The officials get protected and citizens are being crushed over technical violations. This is while the government changes the definition. They do it when the old rules start to lessen either their money or their power. Let me tell you, next year is going to suck. If you think that the old draconian laws of the early to mid 2000s were bad, just wait until every glance that you use on your phone or down the street becomes scrutinized by an algorithm. We're looking at burning courthouse territory here. Police stations getting abandoned. Like in much of the world, from the Taliban to South America, gangs will begin to control entire regions. It already started, and that's scary. People stop believing that following the rules will protect them. We already see it right now.
All right, guys, I'm
business
gonna run
owners,
these out to the
they're
chickens
told to watch as
because we're only
citizens
30
walk out
and
of
to
their
end
store without
the
consequence.
live. And then
Business owner,
we got
well, he's penalized with fines over a missing permit.
yeah.
Homeowners are put into prison. I'm talking don't drop the soap, somebody's girlfriend in prison if they choose to defend their property or their life. And the people trespassing, they have more legal protection than the homeowner does. The social contract underneath what you grew up with is already dead. One government tracks foreign influence and they get called authoritarian. Another does nearly the same thing, but they say they're defending democracy. Canada, during the 2022 convoy protest, invoked emergency powers that forced or allowed banks to freeze accounts without legal or government representation. Government called it temporary and a necessary response to an anti-government illegal blockade. Right now, we are seeing surveillance become so-called democratic process protection, but only when it's approved. Institutions are the ones that are conducting it. Financial punishment is renamed emergency management. And the curtailed First Amendment and online platform discussions are now a new fight against systemic risk. You see, this is where the pattern starts becoming dangerous. The law only holds society together when people voluntarily cooperate with it. They pay their taxes. Is it a legal requirement? I guess that's up to a constitutional lawyer. They obey the contracts, they wait their turn, they walk only when they're told to walk, where they're allowed to, they stop at the red lights and accept the outcomes they don't like because they believe that everyone else is living under roughly the same treatment. Once people decide that the agreement is fake, their behavior changes. They start withdrawing from that voluntary agreement. They don't report crimes because nothing will happen anymore. Or worse, they'll be the ones that go to jail. They cancel their insurance because the claims are denied while the premiums increase, and the blood pumping American citizen stops believing that the court is here to protect us. And then what happens? New businesses don't open up. People stop helping strangers, and they start creating private systems, private security, private networks, private
All
rules,
right.
because the public system
Got
is
that taken
no
care of.
longer, excuse me, no longer neutral.
I'm gonna
Doing it right now.
continue working on this.
It's what Chinatown has always been. It's how gangs operate on American
Panda,
soil.
get down, please.
It's a closed loop. They have their own laws. You see the Amish do it. If you have a problem with an Amish kid, you don't call the cops. You go speak face to face with their religious leader.
Will you get down?
In just a few months, everyone inside of our country is going to realize that America's social contract is dead. It's over. More people
Get
are about
down.
to start ignoring the laws that they believe to be wrong or illegitimate or placed for
Panda,
power
I
and
love
not
you, but you
function.
pick the worst times.
You'll still have police, but response time and reaction will suck. The stores will be open, but everything worth more than $3 will sit behind glass, along with shorter hours and higher prices. Folks, it's July 19th, 2026, and the banks still have your money in their account, but they get to choose whether or not you can access your own money.
Will
It's
you
about to get worse.
go?
Digitalization and technocracy, whether or not you can have your own money back depends on whether your activity, your identity, or your opinions fit within an approved system. There's another stage after that. And this is the one that people aren't ready for the most. Informal authority. When official authority loses its legitimacy, informal authority often replaces it. Most NPC behavior-driven humans cannot live without being told what to do every second of the day. We've seen all versions of this all over the world. Somehow Americans
All the
make
dishes
the
except
mistake
for the
of
fried
believing
pan is
that
done.
geography exempts us from the rawest of complete ignorance through NPC behavior. Singapore is just one example. Its legal system was criticized on the international spectrum when the country was less powerful and less useful to the international order. In the 1990s, they were mocked as a misrule of law. Today, Singapore is routinely ranked as one of the strongest rule of law countries. But nothing changed. In a few months, the government's control will be absolute.
Can you hand me my old phone
Soon after,
or my other phone?
we'll see the popping up of cartel-like networks that move drugs, people, and money through American cities using decentralized distribution. The government will control apartment complexes, warehouses.
Sorry, guys, I'm trying to set something up.
transportation routes, and entire sections of the underground economy. On the black market, we'll see sharks providing loans to people when the banks shut them out,
747.
and providing protection to people when police stop responding. And then you'll see illegal employment when the digital identity system makes someone officially unemployable. Your payments will just decline. The grocery store gates won't open for you, but they'll open for that person. Uber will say that there's no drivers available, even though you can see with your own eyes that there are empty cars waiting.
Will you
for the
get?
good people to catch
Darn
the ride.
it!
Job applications are already disappearing before a human being ever reads them, because either your identity has been flagged or you're just not good enough for the greater
Yeah,
machine.
this
Cameras
driving me nuts.
every road.
Go away. I'm
They record
busy.
where you travel, what time you get there, which vehicles are regularly appearing at or near your home. And that part doesn't even require an imagination.
I'm
because
sorry, honey,
nationwide, we
but-
have camera networks that already allow police to automate the search of an enormous amount of vehicle and civilian location data today. Like other countries, inside of the great USA, you'll be able to walk freely in one heavily government-controlled area, but just a few blocks away, you won't be able to walk without someone or some group collecting protection money and calling it a transportation permit. And then officials will announce another technological crackdown. More public-private partnerships, and maybe even another
Would you
expansion of
stop?
the emergency authority. The technocracy will govern the compliant populations through their accounts, their applications, and their automated denials. And
Okay,
everyone else will
that's
be
what I'm
governed
looking
through
for.
debt, fear, and favor. Between these two realities is where ordinary people will sit. They'll be watched by one power and hunted by the other. Realizing that the law still exists everywhere except where they actually need it is what is actually breaking down the social contract of the rule of law right now. And I think it's happening a
I
lot
can't do that
quicker
right now.
than I originally
All right.
imagined.
I hit a wall.
Need your family ready.
I have to upload a picture of my ID. I have to take a picture of my ID. And I can't do that right now. So
The viewer, and by radio code. In a radiation emergency, nothing matters more than information. Radio code 0 measures radiation levels that are up to 9 sieverts per hour, and this helps you identify safe
I love
locations,
you, but I
detect weak
can't
points in
do
shelter,
right now. Would you
reduce
stop?
uncertainty by giving you live data instead of relying on guesswork. It has up to 200
Alright, this is
hours of
probably gonna end
active
up being-
operation on a single charge.
Not this
And after
one, but
it's
the
accumulated
next one's probably gonna end up being the
you
last
get it
video
on its own. This will reduce
for
uncertainty
this one
and
because
everyone around you.
I have to have time to get. We have to have time to get out there and set up the totes. We've got to get the chickens in. One chicken per tote, and we got to take them upstairs.
Safe shelter.
We don't have a choice.
Clear incident. You can get your own radiation detector by visiting the radio code link that's in the description box below, which already has a 5% discount. And this is just for the full spectrum survival family.
Will you get down?
Knowing that this change is coming, we have to think about other
I'm sorry,
methods
Cap,
of
but you're driving me
preparedness.
nuts.
Passive election of food. Like passive fishing is probably one of the most efficient ways to gather your protein source because it allows you to conserve energy and time while other tasks for daily survival can be performed. In an emergency,
Yeah, if they don't completely
of course,
screw up our water
the
system to where we
well,
can't
it's
fish
lawful or
because of them
necessary.
being all dead
Fish
or
traps
poisoned.
in areas where fish naturally travel, such as shallow creeks or constrictions along river areas or water areas or along submerged structures, continue to work while you do things like collect
And
firewood,
the second angel.
purify drinking water, maybe improve your shelter.
1/3 of the
But
water.
like any food procurement method, your success depends on the behavior of something else.
We let them back out.
The fish, their seasonal movement,
They're playing musical
depends on whether
rooms.
they're going to be there than the trap itself. And of course, you have to have the ability, especially during a nuclear emergency, to know if it's safe to eat. Remember that in a genuine
God,
survival
that was
situation,
not that difficult of a thing to
taking
do.
care of your calories,
It was just
making sure
a
you
little
don't
closer
expend
for
them
you than me. That's why I asked you
is
to
even
do
more
that.
important than collecting them in the first place. So use passive
Mm,
gathering,
Nope.
procurement,
not right
more
now.
efficient than just sitting there casting a line on the shore. Even though the good old days with a beer and maybe a cigarette allow that to be a lot more enjoyable. Folks, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival, where every day we bring you information. Make sure to subscribe, share this video, and hype it. YouTube says that up to 80% of our viewers don't have the bell alert icon selected to notify
Yeah.
all.
And I
You
think
just
a
have
lot
to-
of our videos don't get sent out either.
That means you're not going to get the videos that we put out every day. Hit that bell alert. Make sure you're notified to all. From my family to yours, please stay safe. Check back at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. and keep watch.
Was
Inside of the United States of America.
still from 3 days ago. Yeah, I'll try to do another live tomorrow morning.
Or a politician at a same-sex baseball game. Every one of these events
Cat, will you
would have been
stop?
dismissed as too extreme
Gosh.
as we race toward the open.
Alert. The war for Europe is here. French nuclear weapons ready. Germany preparing for the worst. Okay. get. Ugh! I love you. I cannot hold you right now. Well, it's quickly gonna spread this direction. Hope you guys are getting prepared. Food, water, seeds, garden, homestead, especially water to where you can keep things watered.
Opening of World War III, Europe just crossed a nuclear threshold. We're racing towards situations that just a few years ago would have been glossed over quicker than a gas station donut or a politician at a same-sex baseball game. Every one of these events would have been dismissed as too extreme or too serious to discuss, or they said it would never happen. But here we are. Europe is reversing.
It's probably going to be the last one, right?
Nuclear confrontation with Russia. Scientists are warning that a major solar storm may hit modern civilization harder than current models have predicted, which will leave hundreds of millions of people without power for years as the grid builds itself back up. And thousands of people are getting sick, infected by an outbreak that caused officials to tell people to stop eating fresh fruits and vegetables. At the same time, we are seeing a fertilizer shortage from oil supply issues around our planet. 3 different stories, but when you look at them through my eyes, they all point to the same problem. We're screwed. Screen black. End of show. The system that people have been every day relying on, the one that stops them from being Neanderthal-like brutes that attack grandparents because Nan might have an unrusted can of Chef Boyardee. These systems are being tested in ways that governments and corporations cannot or are not willing to handle. The first warning is coming out of Europe, where France and Germany have crossed a line that European leaders spent decades trying to let not happen. French nuclear-capable fighter jets with German Eurofighters are now preparing for a nuclear worst-case scenario. They're getting ready to refuel country-leveling weapons systems in the air. This is while ground units coordinate an operation after a nuclear attack. The fact that these militaries are training for this right now, it shows us that European governments are no longer treating skin melting off your bones nuclear fallout as some sort of distant Cold War theory. They're starting to work through what cooperation it will take between the countries if Russia or another enemy starts to use nuclear weapons. The exercise follows an agreement between the French president, Emmanuel Macron, and the German chancellor. Now, France continues to demand internationally that it holds the only keys to its nuclear arsenal, marking it as a strictly national weapons system that will be controlled by Paris and nobody else. So with France now allowing European allies to become more involved in their nuclear preparedness, their planning, and their military exercises that surround their nuclear umbrella, it's a real moment for me. Anytime that we have seen countries start to coordinate their communications and their command structures, they're not doing it because they expect everything to remain calm. You know, France instead, they're afraid that their baguettes are going to get cooked by the interior of the sun as a nuclear bomb from Russia, a really pissed off Russia, lands on their beret. They'll do this because they're supporting the complete annihilation of Moscow through the delivery of
No,
guns,
I've got
some say drugs, and money to Ukraine. They're doing this because somebody inside of the government believes that there is a realistic chance that these capabilities are really going to be necessary. Now, Europe is also afraid that the United States will give them the single middle-fingered French wave goodbye in a new alliance with Russia, and that the USA will not provide to Europe the same level of protection that we have since the end of the Second World War. European leaders are seeing a reshaping of American political argument. They're also looking at the continued war in Ukraine, Russia's repeated nuclear warnings, and the expansion of military spending across the continent. Now, according to the most recent
I can't do
reports,
it on here.
France is in the possession of around 290 nuclear warheads. And that arsenal is now becoming
They
a
don't
much
give you
larger
that
part
option.
of all of Europe's long-term defense conversation. It's not the creation yet of an independent European nuclear force, but it is the framework that could eventually support something like that or moving in that direction. Now, France and Germany are preparing to work much closer during a crisis. And once nuclear-capable aircraft are being used in these combined exercise events, the message being sent to Russia is screw off or pay the price. But there's also a hidden danger here. A deterrence exercise is supposed to prevent war. It's supposed to show your enemies that an attack would be answered. But new aircraft movement, new command arrangements, and new military signals create an opportunity for escalation. The French, the Germans, and NATO,
The plans.
they think they're being strong. But Russia might believe that preparations for an actual attack have already started. And that's how the first bullet of war starts to move before the political leaders can control it. And we're already living through a period where drones and missiles, cyber attacks, and long-range weapons are crossing the old boundaries. This adds a much more visible nuclear preparation into that environment.
Stop.
That these governments are taking the possibility seriously enough to start practicing for it. Now, at the same time, another threat is developing above us. If this happens, kiss everything that you know goodbye. Scientists are studying extreme solar events, and they're warning us that a Carrington-level world wipe, at least from a technological standpoint, may be unpredictable. Or at least that's what they're telling us. Now, the real fear, they say, is that a solar event might begin pushing beyond the upper limits of the information that is built into the models used to protect satellites, the electrical grid, and our communications systems. Now, after researchers examined more than 1 million different solar wind observations, they reported that there is no clear evidence that our Earth and our atmosphere will always respond within the boundaries that were previously assumed. In short, they're saying just because we didn't get the dark ages handed to us in yesterday's X-class solar flare doesn't mean tomorrow's won't.
Yeah.
Their warning is that the atmosphere is starting to react more violently during extreme geomagnetic storms than engineers are currently planned or prepared for. And we already know that
Honey, you gotta get down.
mass ejections interfere with satellites,
All right.
take out GPS navigation, radio
Can't do it right now.
communications, and electrical transmission systems.
Gotta wait.
And now they're
Wait,
saying
honey.
that we're about to be foobarred because what could be coming is nowhere near.
I know. I don't sit here and pay attention to you very
They're
much,
saying
do
you're ready
I?
for a truly exceptional storm.
I'm like
Perhaps
always on the go
only
lately.
occurs once in 1,000 years. During something that powerful, the upper atmosphere could heat up and expand, and it will create a much heavier drag on low Earth orbit satellites. And then the satellites lose altitude faster than expected.
This
And the
is my
atmosphere on Earth still only
cupcake.
keeps spacecraft oriented.
The calico kitty
Our
that I
navigation dropped,
snagged.
our own communication systems are
cinnamon
corrupted,
glitter.
and the electrical grid gets its backside wiped in a huge section of affected countries. Today, our civilization is much more vulnerable to this kind of event than the people were that lived during the historic solar storms of our past, because almost everything that we do is connected to electricity. The timing, the signals, the satellites, our banking,
Get out.
fuel
Ow, dang it.
distribution,
Really, cat?
movement of food by trucks, aviation, our
Get down.
emergency services, our military.
Sorry, but I've got
mobile networks, every one
to
of
get
these
ready
things
to get
depends on
done with
systems
this.
that will be
Honey,
affected
no.
at the exact same time. Now, I've warned you for years that preparedness
That
isn't
hurt.
based on disasters that
Yeah,
people think.
sorry, my hair's in the way.
You have to consider the ones that will cause the greatest damage. And a major solar storm would not need to destroy every single earthbound transformer or knock out every satellite to make the looting and rioting of years past look like a hot yoga class. Even partial events will cause cascading problems.
I think
the timing of
tomorrow
GPS becoming
I'm gonna
unreliable
upload
at the
the
same time that
chat
portions
that
of
I
our
did
grid
the
are
other day.
unstable,
The other day.
signal networks don't work, overloaded, can't process the payments. Most people are just going to think that
I want to do another
the
chat
internet
video,
provider is
but
having an outage, and it's going to
might
take
do that on my
hours,
phone.
maybe even a day before they understand that the problem is much larger and that a return to normal is not coming.
No.
And then we come back down to ground level. A completely different warning is developing inside of our food supply chain. At the same time, we have a fertilizer shortage that has caused farmers to say they can't plant their crops. Now, federal investigators say that they're linking fresh fruit and veg, including what's sold at Taco Bell restaurants. No big surprise there. To a multi-state cyclospora outbreak with thousands of people infected and hundreds of hospitalizations before it's done. This particular infection causes a prolonged intestinal illness. For some people, the symptoms can return or continue for months or even longer. Now, taken separately, each one of these events could be pushed aside as someone else's problem. A nuclear exercise in Europe, very far away, who cares? A once in a 1,000-year solar storm, well, it's unlikely. A lettuce outbreak that causes you not to buy fresh fruits or vegetables, it sounds like something that's limited just
Grow your own.
restaurants. But your preparedness starts when other people stop looking. Governments are practicing for nuclear escalation. Scientists are
Get ready, guys.
that space weather models underestimate. And federal investigators saying you
Got
should
about 5
probably
minutes.
stop buying fresh fruits and vegetables. It doesn't mean to panic. It just means we should be skeptical and paying attention. Keep all basic supplies at home.
Yep.
Follow what warnings you need.
And get
to
your
understand just
seeds
as quickly. A very distant
for your own gardens.
can arrive inside of your own house. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to your Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube.
I hate it when that happens. All right. So I'm gonna have to get off from here. I'm tired. Feel like I'm trying to think with half a brain. Yeah. I will upload. She did get me. I will upload the chat video tomorrow. That this is basically like Cupcake, really? No, get down. I'm starting to get really irritated. I'm sorry, but no, I'm trying to get off from here. Anyway, I'll get that uploaded tomorrow. I might do another chat video tonight from my phone. I don't know. I've got to go get Aaron. I've got to feed the kitten. Got to take care of the chickens. Life is a nightmare right now. I want to go over what I've been talking about with possibly moving. Yeah. But I need to do that in another video. So I'm going to get off from here. Please check your subscriptions, you guys. Make sure you're still subscribed. Welcome to the new subscribers. Please go back through and watch all my videos. Especially all the informational ones. The older ones are just kind of, I was getting started and doing whatever I could. So, I'm gonna try to get out and do another gardening video. We've got watering. We needed to do watering tonight, and I don't know if we're gonna get to it. Because I got a half an hour and I've got to feed the kittens, so I've got to get off from here. But anyway. We have a lot of work to do. I got to try to make sure that I can get up and get started with things. Plus, I have to refocus on trying to lose weight and do it the right way and stay away from unhealthy foods, which I have not been doing a very good job. Between cake and pizza and ice cream and lots of green foods. Yeah, I haven't been doing a good job, but I will be starting again. So, anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Like and share the videos. Get ready, you guys. Just get ready. Get your seeds. Get your gardens going. Get your homesteads going. There are a lot of things that can be planted in August. Get your plans. Get everything mapped out. Get your layouts mapped out. Gridded out. Whatever. Just get going with stuff. And I'm going to do another video talking about that. And we'll cover more of that in another video. I will be getting our store going for sure. I'm going to be working on the business. I'm going to be doing another business video. So be on the lookout for more videos. I've just got to figure everything with all my time and everything. So I will see you guys in the next one. And like and share the videos. Share them on all your platforms with all your friends, family, everyone. Get them out there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.